Hello, I'm Mary McHugh, and I wrote a book called Special Siblings: Growing Up with Somebody with a Disability, because I grew up with a brother who had what they call mental retardation in those days, now called developmental delay, and cerebral palsy. And because I wrote that book, Don Meyer, who was putting together a book of essays by adult siblings of people with disabilities, asked me to write one of the chapters in his new book, which is called Thicker Than Water. And it's a wonderful book, and it's full of essays by adult siblings, really interesting. And Don Meyer is the person who started the whole idea of sibling support in this country, and he sets up sibling workshops, which are enormously helpful throughout the country. So the proceeds from this book, the royalties from this book, all go to setting up and establishing and financing sib shops all over the country. So if you buy one, buy it through www.siblingsupport.com, because then the money, part of the money, will go to the sibling support. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about this book, which is really wonderful. Really good writers wrote for it. You probably remember Rachel Simon, who wrote Riding the Bus with My Sister. There was a TV movie about it. It was just wonderful, about her sister Beth. She has a new book out now called Building a Home with My Husband, which is also wonderful. She has an essay in there. There's one by Emily Marino Hall, who has a brother named Peter, and her essay is called Happily Ever After, and it's sort of the way her brother influenced the way she looked for someone to marry. Luckily, she found a wonderful man. His name is Tom, and they're married now. She's a manager of writing at YAI, National Institute for People with Disabilities in New York City. And there's an essay by Alan Goldstein, who's an instructor of English at Polytechnic Institute of NYU, and he writes movingly and beautifully about his brother Fred and his role as an advocate for his brother. Then there's one by Susan Hamovich, who is a documentary filmmaker, and it's called, her film is called Without Apology, and she's written an essay called Getting From Then to Now. It's also wonderful, but they're all good in here. So anyway, mine is the last one in the book, because it's, when I found out my brother was dying of cancer, I wanted to find out a way to talk to him. He wouldn't know the questions to ask me. So I wanted to find a way that I could soothe him, that would comfort him. And so finally one day, I just put my arms around him, and I held him close to me, and I said, Jack, you and I are getting older, and when you get older, you die someday. Do you know what I think happens when we die? He looked at me so intently I could feel his need to know. What, he said.